What's up, guys? My name's Xavier Caesar with Away Television. We're here right now with the 16th episode of our podcast. We got Lil Soda Boy
What's up?
here as a guest. Our last episode was Lil Soda Boy, and that did well, so we got him back.
That was fun.
And yeah, so how have you been, man? What's been up, Soda?
Just doing more online stuff this year. Started streaming on Twitch, which is really fun. I have another song coming with Tommy Ice soon that we're working on the video. And I've been good, dude. Mentally, I think I'm not like joyous, ecstatic, happy all the time. I'm just not that kind of person. I'm not like a giddy person. But as far as like mentally, like I've probably been better, like stronger mentally and like healthier mentally than I have been in a long time. Like I might venture to say like my whole life, trying to keep a positive edge on things and just stay productive. What about you?
I've been doing okay. I've been taking my meds and they're working.
Good, man. I'm glad to hear that.
I don't hear voices as much as I used to.
Yeah.
And when I do, I kind of am able to deal with it.
Right. It's manageable. You can like discern it from reality and
Yeah, exactly.
That's definitely good, dude. I'm glad you're doing good.
Yeah, man.
This year has so far been better than last year and definitely the year before. So outlook is definitely everything. Because nothing's really changed. It's so cliche. Not another podcast talking about mental health, but
Yeah.
it's important.
Yeah, it's important stuff. It's basic, man. You need your mental health. You need to be there.
It's all you got, dude. Sometimes I really trip out thinking about, damn, without my memories, which is just thoughts, they're not tangible. All I have is the current moment. That's it. Then you can't in any way experience the past at all. It's just a thought. It's crazy to think about if you really like ponder it.
Yeah. Did you see that Elon Musk put a Neuralink chip in someone's brain?
Dude, I did. And it's crazy because like last year they said that was at least 5 years off. So they're definitely speeding things up quite a bit.
Yeah.
Very scary.
The person can control a computer mouse with his thoughts.
What? Oh my god.
Yeah, we live in that. We live in like that time where like
You see these technologies in sci-fi and but
yeah,
there's that barrier, there's that disconnect of like, I mean, I guess that's possible, but that's not gonna happen, right? And then it happens. Like I remember they had movies about VR in the 80s that if you actually compare the technology they were speculating on and what actually came out, does art imitate life or does life imitate art? You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah, I got some questions for you here.
Dope. Let's hear them.
I'll start off with the first one.
Cool.
So first off, how did you transition from producing beats to incorporating vocals into your music?
Well, I mean, I've probably told this story like a million times, but I mean, I always love to flesh it out and give details on stuff like that. I can talk about this crap all day, but I didn't actually start making beats or instrumentals to sing on, which is the funny part. I actually made like weird lo-fi glitch hop type stuff, like under a bunch of different names. Dude, I have so many monikers. I'm not going to drop any, but the real fans know a couple of them for sure. I was literally just dropping stuff on Bandcamp for like 4 years, no exaggeration, before anyone listened. Like I'm talking like Bandcamp didn't even really have a way to monitor how many people were listening. So I just assumed it was zero. And that experience, I think, like, I was just releasing my music out into nowhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like hosting it online just to serve as sort of like a digital archive for me to like go back on. And like, it's pleasant to see it listed in albums with song titles and all that stuff. And I got good at making fun cover art editing stuff. But my point is that it was never about trying to start a career or garner fans or produce for people, even at first. It was experimentation. And it exemplified a spirit of play that is super important to me still to this day. And I think that shift to where I'm at now, which is like, I'm still very much in an altruistic state of mind. I don't think I'll ever abandon that drive. But I think like that shift was gradual. It didn't happen overnight. But more than that, it was just like a streamlining of what brought positive outcomes for me. You know, people liking my music, or, you know, oh, I made a little money here. Or this type of song is like, you know, really a hit with people or whatever. But without sacrificing my artistic vision. Because that's that's probably a big reason why I've never gotten signed or anything like that. It kind of is like Michelangelo, you know, when he was chipping away at David, it didn't come out in one blow.
Yeah.
You have to be surgical with it, you know what I mean? It's a balancing act. I always say I focus more on what I don't want to present to my art and what I don't want to be present within my creative expression. So I focus more on that than what I do want in the art. You know what I mean? I focus more on things that I wouldn't want to see in other people's art and not including them, rather than, oh, what do I want to see? It's like a process of elimination, but creatively.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's how you get disappointed too, when you have like this idea, like, I'm going to make this song exactly like this, and it's just going to come out just like that, and then it doesn't, obviously, because it never does. But to get back to the question, my beat tapes, I had released them out for years with no views, no monetization. Like I said, I had a firm grasp on making cover art, labeling tracks, structuring a project, etc. So like when I got a little older and I grew out of only listening to like video game OSTs and like French house music, I was a big Daft Punk fan, for real. My friends became the skater kids. They were all completely different from me because they skated. I didn't skate. I wasn't athletic at all. They maintained a decent overlap with interests like music. You know what I mean? They all rapped. So the funny thing was, somebody heard me playing my beat tape in the headphones at school, wanted to see what I was listening. He was like, what is that? And I was like, oh, I made it. I was messing around and stuff. And he ran around the school telling everyone I made beats. And then every single rapper at my middle school wanted to be my friend, hang out in a session and all that. It was the first time I even had a modicum of popularity in my whole life. But look at me now. Just kidding. No.
Have you been keeping up with the recent boom in crypto? How do you feel about the future of Web3 and the blockchain?
Ah, man, that's a big one. Yeah. I heard there was a bull run going on right now, actually, which is insane. A lot of meme coins. Shiba is back, which is nuts. I mean, just like 2021, it feels kind of like a resurgence of interest has happened to Bitcoin, decentralized currency in general, at least 4 times now. The last time was with the NFTs and, like you said, with Web3, but Web2 was supposed to be extinct. And Web2 is basically every single website that was not a crypto website. Look at how that happened. Everyone was supposed to migrate towards these blockchain-enhanced websites, but literally nobody uses Web3 now. I don't know if you've heard, but it's completely dead. People paid thousands and thousands of dollars for that virtual real estate. Remember that? Remember the guy who paid $450,000 to become Snoop Dogg's virtual neighbor? With a virtual property, bro. Snoop Dogg hasn't even logged into that platform since 2022. Plots of land on that thing that were like $7K last year and $10K the year before, going for $6. I'm not kidding. The thing is, I think there definitely is a future in blockchain technology, obviously. I mean, I don't think we would still be using it and talking about it if it wasn't. But I guess I think the trajectory set by the crypto community, it just doesn't line up with the market trends in the long term. Like actual legitimate use cases that don't sound good just as some keynote and never get used or updated again. You have to sift through this stuff that people are going to use that's not just something that sounds good on paper. Just in general, I think things like that have a utility and aren't just some pie in the sky. You're going to get rich and you're getting in on the ground floor and all this crap they try to sell you. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. But yeah, I definitely have heard about it.
Sure, okay. Was there a collaboration that you felt significantly impacted your creative direction?
It's a tough one because you always exchange so much creative energy with a collaboration, whether you feel it or not. I've worked with a lot of people, but someone who's always given me a lot of inspiration with his work ethic was definitely Lil Kirby from Korea. His drive to make songs is so admirable. It really is like intense. He can just work and work and work and work and work. He stayed with me for a week, and what did Luther Campbell say about DJ Khaled? He's literally the Energizer Bunny, for real. That guy would sit up until 7 a.m., start making tracks at 8, and we'd get like 8 tracks done, and it'd be 3 a.m. And he'd still want to keep going. I was always the one to throw in the towel. Never happens for me. If it's an artist I like and actively want to collaborate with, I can do song back to back to back. I got the stamina, but at first I was up for the challenge. We were making 10, 15 songs a day, literally 10, 15 songs a day, no exaggeration, for 3 days. But he stayed with me for a week. I mean, by the 5th day, I was drained, dude. I was a skeleton. Every beat, lyric, idea, my brain was empty, dude. It was gone. But I respect that, for real. And it was a really fun experience. I'm inspired by that. I try to exemplify that. Being in touch with that infinite well of creativity. Artists who realize that, who like don't get frustrated when they delete a song or whatever, because they know the song isn't the music. The music is in you. You're letting the song borrow the music. Maybe that's a little too abstract, but that's how I think about it. Being in touch with that and really twirling open the spigot and letting it fly.
Yeah, for real. You made a song called Larry Fink. I take it that this means you know about BlackRock.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen this?
That there's a lot of merit to it. There's a lot of opportunity. It is a great store, and this is where you can debate. Is it a good store?
Do you know how it's made? A bunch of computers figure out.
But there's problems. But the issue is if people believe that it can be an asset that can be cross-border. Right. And let's be clear, if you're in a country where you're fearful of your government, and maybe this is one of the reasons why China has banned it. If you're in a government where if you're in a country where you're fearful of your future, fearful of your government, or you're frightened that your government is devaluing its currency by too much deficits.
Like us.
I'm not going to go there.
The little elephant in the room.
You could say this is a great potential long-term store of value. And as I said, it's like digital gold. And I believe...
But you still can't buy a slice of pizza with it. Isn't that kind of odd that we're...
But you can't buy a price of pizza with palladium or gold.
No, but there you can do stuff with them. I can get stuff with... I mean, people use gold for stuff, right?
But you could buy and sell your Bitcoin, no different than gold. So it is very...
But gold is put in like...
Jewelry.
And you know, iPhones, I think there's in some electronics, there's gold.
It's more silver.
But you see what I'm saying? There are practical uses. Bitcoin, it's literally a ledger.
It is a ledger, but it's an international ledger. It's cross-border. It's bigger than any government.
I agree with you. It would have blown up, I believe, in FTX, and it didn't after FTX.
Why do you think he's all of a sudden Mr. Bitcoin?
Well, obviously the apprehension a lot of these older businessmen had about crypto is gone, right? And it's real. I mean, people know it's real. The world is moving on the blockchain in real time, billions of dollars. No one can deny it. I think FTX had a lot to do with it. A lot of people who weren't taking crypto seriously years ago first heard about it, and their jaws hit the floor. I mean, the whole space was kind of operating unchecked under the guise of people who legislate things wait until the last possible moment to act on things like this. I mean, to draft up a new legislature that's preventative rather than reactionary, unheard of. It's literally unheard. It does not happen because the last possible moment is almost always after the dust clears and settles on something catastrophic and horrific. And it has to be horrific enough. Otherwise, nobody pays attention. Like a few crypto bros get scammed by Logan Paul or FaZe Clan. It's no big deal. But as soon as FTX started affecting the global S&P and billions of dollars went into dust overnight and these politicians' bank accounts started getting affected, I think it woke a lot of people up to the fact that it's not going to fizzle out, and it's also not going to regulate itself. So by the same token, I think Larry Fink and others hear all this commotion happening and the value of their investments being threatened. And I think that's when you see these organizations spring into action. I think he's doing the same thing Elon is doing with, you were just talking about Neuralink, with Grok and Neuralink and all that stuff. Because he's on record bashing these technological leaps, saying it's a bad idea, too far, playing with fire. These are the words he's used. And he's right. But they're racing everyone else to each advancement still. He's right there with them, pouring the money into trying to be first. I mean, I think we can take Larry Fink's silence up until this point on Bitcoin as most likely a similar, albeit more restrained approach to that hesitancy, but he's not loud like Elon. He wants a monopoly. Why else? Him and his friends own literally everything. Look up BlackRock, look up Vanguard. 90% of the world is in their pocket. If crypto is the future of buying and selling everything, they don't just want it and they want the whole pie. I mean, it's been a long time coming. Going on TV and saying this kind of crap is a good way to start regulatory manipulation in your favor. You know, he's embracing digital assets in a public forum like this, and basically BlackRock is signaling to the market that it's capable of adapting to the growing market and capable of monopolizing it too. I think it's a little bit of a threat. This is how it works with new technology. People resist and resist and resist, and then until it gets too big to ignore. AI, same thing.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, I have to do a little more research on BlackRock and Vanguard and see what's going on with those investment firms.
Oh, it's crazy stuff. There's literally a diagram where every single corporation in the world that is connected to a subsidiary leads back to, basically they call it the big three: BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. Those are like your invisible bosses.
Yeah, wow. Well, what inspired the naming of your songs when using languages like Arabic, Korean, Japanese, or Chinese?
I'm surprised nobody's asked me that before. Well, speaking about the Korean characters, last time we talked about me living in Korea for a little under a half year in the beginning of 2020. And, you know, if I'm being honest, the biggest draw to me is aesthetically, I find their alphabet fascinating. I mean, they're the only language with standalone circles in the letters. If you actually look, that's how you can tell the difference to all the people in my DMs that anytime I post anything with Asian lettering, they get it wrong and they say Japanese is Chinese and Chinese is Korean. Circles. Look for the circles in the letters.
Between Chinese and Korean, because Korean has circles.
Exactly. But now Arabic is also really cool looking to me too. If you've ever heard of WeChat,
Yeah.
I know it's common knowledge at this point, but I have quite a few fans in China, and they have a nice little underground scene down there. And actually, I have my own message group on WeChat, like a little soda boy club, and it has all these Chinese fans in it. I found it really fun just to add the characters of other languages as an actual functional gambit. Like, I know a lot of people just haphazardly slapdash a bunch of random Japanese letters on something, you know, and call it a day, but I really actually spend a lot of time into asking my foreign language fans if the translation is accurate. The songs that I've done German with Sin Davis, if anybody knows those ones out there, I always made sure the translation was accurate with him because he speaks German. Made sure that I wasn't just saying garbage. I wasn't just saying gibberish. There was meaning behind it for a specific purpose to convey a certain meaning is what I try to use them for. It kind of adds a sense of depth to the visuals.
Yeah. Did you hear the Spider-Man 4 rumors?
Bro, I did. Oh my god. Dude. So the Sandman actor was talking about that. And, dude, that guy looks just like my dad. When I watched the movie, literally everyone that knew me told me that. But, no, he confirmed that it was in development. Dude, those are my favorite Spider-Man movies. Or, like, Spider-Man media in general. Those are the definitive Spider-Man movies. No cap. Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland. No. Toby. I saw them all in theaters. And the whole situation of Spider-Man 3, when it got all that hate from critics and stuff, and fans, when it came out, Sony literally canceled the official 2009 Spider-Man 4 that was slated for release. They were making animatics. It had a script. Toby had signed off on it. But literally so many people made fun. It wasn't even like people like hated Spider-Man 3. People they made fun of the cringe parts of it. It was tragic. That was not a bad film by any stretch of the imagination. It was great, in my opinion. The black suit arc and like Venom being played by Eric from that 70s show. Gold, dude. Awesome. I think the complaints were, for the most part, too many villains with their own separate B and C plots that it thinks hard to follow, and then the emo Peter Parker thing, with this little James Brown dance and the fingers and stuff. But I think unanimously everyone agrees now that was the best part of the movie. Tobey Maguire is like a national treasure, because one of my top 5 movies, his best actor performance in Brothers, that won him an Oscar.
You know what I did to get back to you?
No.
You know what I did to get back to you? You know I suffered because of you! And what have you done in my f***ing house? And my f***ing kids, Grace? You're f***ing my brother! You're f***ing my brother in my f***ing house!
Sam, please.
I love you, Grace!
Please, girls, please.
You know how much I love you! You know what I... Grace, do you know what I f***ing... You know what I can do with these f***ing hands, Grace!
Insane, bro. Insane. He plays this like Iraqi veteran who has PTSD. His wife cheats on him with his brother when she thinks he's dead. Crazy movie. But there's a part in it where he's like breaking plates, veins are popping out of his neck, and the cops come and he threatens to shoot himself. Intense, bro.
Go in the room.
Okay. What the f*** are you doing, motherfucker?
Lock the door.
Back! You call the cops? You call the f***ing cops? All right. Disturbance? Good.
Hold back!
What are you doing here?
Drop your weapon!
What are you doing?
Hold on, put your gun down.
Huh?
Go back in the house!
What are you doing? Huh?
Put your weapon down, Captain.
You know me?
Just shut up.
You know me?
Okay?
Huh? Stay back! Hey! Stay back!
All right.
Hey!
You're a war hero, son.
I'm no f***ing hero! I'm no f***ing hero! You know what I've done?
Hey, it's all right. Just relax.
Sam! Huh? Sam!
Put your gun down.
What are you gonna do? You gonna shoot me? Huh? Sam! Shoot me!
No one can do stuff like that convincingly and not be good at acting.
Yeah.
But he makes it look easy. I was actually up on the Spider-Man 4 thing for a while, but Not like the recent developments, but back in 2009, I would search for a lot of IMDb movie listings and stuff that were in future years. Not movies that are already out, but if you sort it by 2025, 2021, or whatever back then, it would literally tell you stuff that was slated for release, and sometimes it wouldn't even end up coming out. But when I would just fixate on it, like when I was a kid counting down to Toy Story 3, like 10 years ago, before it eventually released, I was like always on the internet since age 3. That's not an exaggeration. I was on dial-up constantly. In my family, I guess, I was known for being antisocial, always looking at a screen, even from age 3. I was the original iPad baby before that was a thing. And I don't think my parents could have even done anything to prevent that. I don't even know how my own brain works or what I'm thinking half the time, to be honest.
Yeah.
But no, Spider-Man 4 was supposed to have Mysterio in it, but then they used him for a Tom Holland movie. And then it was going to have Vulture in it. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out. I'm seeing it, for sure, if they're for real about it. They said it's in production, and I'll take their word for it. But you know what? That's funny that you mentioned that. You know what I was actually thinking about later this morning? You know what would be a cool thing to happen would be if Christopher Nolan saw this trend and then did another Christian Bale Batman movie. Because that, like, my favorite Batman, and you got to do these things before people die, you know? I mean, Christopher Nolan isn't decrepit. Neither is Christian Bale. And you got Alfred, and you got Morgan Freeman in there. And what are they, 5 years? Tops.
Yeah.
Not to be grim. Michael Caine is dope. I would love to get some DJ drops from Sir Michael Caine. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Werner Herzog. I would kill for a Werner Herzog drop, dude. That would be insane.
Yeah. What's your favorite Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie?
That's a good one. Honestly, probably 3. But just, that's only going by the level of fun that I have watching it. But by story of merit as like a serious movie, probably the second one, definitely. Because Dr. Octopus, dude, so good, dude. I love Doc Ock because his arc is so tragic, right?
Yeah.
And it has those like 2004 special effects that are somehow better than the ones are today. Isn't that crazy how that works? Like, I've seen some bad CGI this year. Shouldn't unintentionally bad CGI be a thing of the past? It's funny if you really think about it. Like, the tech is there. We've seen reality made by animators and but we're just using it inefficiently and overworking animators. Like, if you want a really good example of this, look at the fight scene in Black Panther where they fight on the subway in Wakanda or whatever. It is horrendous. And if you listen to the interviews with the animators talking about their experience working on it, they basically made an entirely separate scene that was way better, did not make the movie, and the studio made them start from scratch about 3 times with like weeks left for them to make something that took them 6 months up until that point to make a comparable thing. So it's literally, it's like toddlers telling adults what to do. The people that are telling the animators, you know, do this, they're, I mean, at best directors, at worst studio executives. They're not gonna get the fact that something that looks simple and might be a few seconds can take months. But people just don't understand that that's how the process works. They just want the results, pretty much. Plus, Spider-Man 2 has Joey Diaz in it.
He's mine!
Once I shove my tongue in your ass, you black out. It's like you're 14 and your uncle's molesting you. You know?
And me.
Me too.
Very well.
I don't know what more you could want from a Spider-Man movie.
Yeah. What's your favorite villain from the franchise?
Easy. Venom.
Venom?
Venom. No further explanation.
Okay. Can you share some details about your process behind your mixtape I'm For Real with DJ Fat? How did that come about?
What a crazy project, for real. My most recent project, shout out DJ Fat. Basically, he just hit me up saying, "What's up, twin? We should do a tape, drop it on my channel." And I literally hit him back with the whole thing within a few days. Because I fuck with him. You know, people got a lot to say about DJ Fat, but they're not underground legends like he is, bro.
DJ Fat and Net Spins.
Yeah, no comment, bro. Crazy.
Yeah, they clown on him a lot just for weird stuff. And I'm just like, leave DJ Fat alone.
Dude, people on the internet are weird, man. Leave DJ Fat alone, for real. I sent him the tape, and he mixed everything, added all the dope sounds. I know people who don't, like, get what he does, but he adds something special to it, like the DJ drama of the underground type shit. Like, when he used to shout on the mixtapes, like, it's dope. It's the culture, you know? No, I'm For Real is really fun to make. Everyone go stream I'm For Real.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I like DJ Fat. I've been following him for a little while.
Hell yeah.
He's worked with so many people, and he's...
Legend. Dude, legend. He has songs with Blueface.
Yeah.
He hosted The Race by TK. He has songs with Trippy. Incredible catalog.
Yeah, great catalog. Did you hear about the Oscar-nominated film for Best Screenplay, The Holdovers, scripts being accused of plagiarism?
I did hear about that. Who wrote that Disney movie about the gay mermaid said he got ripped off. And that's a curious situation because I saw the document listing all the similarities.
I'm looking at it now.
Yeah, that's a curious situation because I saw that they've put a lot of the things that they're comparing it to out of sequence. Like, it will line up like, oh, Act 1 lines up with Act 3 in their play, and then Act 2 lines up with Act 6, and it's like, well, that's not really how that works. The details, if they were indeed, let's just give it the benefit of the doubt, if they were indeed lifted from this work, were altered. And were altered quite a bit.
Yeah.
Names and stuff.
Change like a couple professions.
Right. But it does bring up an interesting conversation, right? Because there's that book that blogger guy wrote that everyone always mentions when this kind of stuff comes up. How to Steal Like an Artist. It's an interesting read, but I wouldn't say I agree with everything in there. But I think on some level, art will always share some sort of similarity between everything that came before it. Because there's a little bit of everything that came before it culminating into where it is now, and that's just the interconnected nature of reality. There's a difference between inspiration and copying.
Where do you draw the line at inspiration and copying?
That's honestly a really tough one. It's not really a line that can be drawn. It is one of those things that you have to look at on a case-by-case basis, and it is going to be subjective no matter what. Like, I don't think there is a factual line. You can say, okay, beyond a reasonable doubt, yeah, probably. But you can never, know what's going on upstairs in an artist's brain when they're making something. I think you don't. I think you don't draw the line. That's my answer.
Yeah. So how do you feel about stealing and originality in art?
I am very much not the type of person to be like, oh man, so many people bit my swag. I'm so sick of people sleeping on me and biting my swag. Bro, everyone always has that to say, and it's just...
Everybody does that, bro. Everybody.
This is actually how I think, and how I've always thought, is that I make music that I like, right? I make music that I like to listen to. So, ergo, if somebody is making music that is similar sonically to the music that I make, that would mean that it's music that I like. And if the net amount of music that I like or that has sonic qualities that I enjoy is out there in the world goes up from somebody making a song that's similar to mine, why would I complain? Because they're making money? Well, I'm making money too. Is that to say that there's not enough money for two people to make music? I don't think that that's in any way true. I just don't really care. Plus, sampling is such a big part of hip-hop, and yet people still make such a big deal about this, like as if a building block of the culture isn't literally just like lifting a part of a song, but in a cool and creative way. There's a mastery in flipping a sample, even in a simple way, but in like an ingenious way. There's a mastery in flipping a sample in a way that somebody else might not think to do it. And so it's a complicated subject, but I think that it's something that in a lot of people's mind deserves a second look. Like maybe reevaluate how you feel about it and look at it from a non-personal perspective.
Yeah, man. You used clips of stand-up comedy before in your music. I heard a Patrice O'Neal clip on your collaboration with Funny, and you posted a Norm Macdonald clip on your Instagram. Who's your favorite comedian right now?
That's a tough one, but Nick Mullen, 100%.
Nick Mullen from Cumtown?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, he's good.
Dude, I was so impressed with Year of the Dragon, his most recent special, if you've seen it.
I'm not, unlike Paul Dean, I never say the N-word. I don't say the N-word. I don't think you should. I will say this, there's one exception I make for myself that I think almost every white person makes. It's if I'm in my car by myself listening to rap music. But what can I say? I just really hate rap music.
Bro, I instantly bought tickets to his show after seeing that. I'm seeing him in April. Hopefully I get a pick. But that's going to be dope. I like the Adam Freeland show. The recent stuff is really good.
Yeah, they have some good stuff.
I'm just bummed out I have to go to Portland to go see him. You know, we make sacrifices. Salvage the order. You do not want to be there after dark, bro. I'll just say that.
Yeah, jeez.
That's probably who I would have said if I didn't say Nick Mullen. But I did. I don't think he bombed, because a lot of people said that. I know that's probably what you want to hear. But his material in the monologue was reused, some of it. And he kind of addressed the fact that the crowd wasn't laughing a lot, which I feel like if he hadn't done, people wouldn't have noticed. If you say you're having a bad set, people are going to think you're having a bad set. But I got to say, it made SNL funnier. Did it make it funny? No. And SNL made Shane less funny. So, which is like, fine. I laughed a handful of times, but mostly I was just happy for Shane. Because, I mean, I've been watching him forever, since before he was even on Rogan. I'm not happy for SNL. Fuck SNL, but...
Yeah, man. I've noticed you started streaming. Can you tell me a little bit about that and what made you decide to start streaming on Twitch?
Yeah, it's something that I've definitely brought up in the past. If anyone's seen SOTV, which is my vlog from almost a year and a half ago now, I talk about, I want to start Twitch streaming, and it literally took me till about last week to actually do it. But I guess I just had too much free time. I very much have enjoyed it so far. I make beats on stream, and I react to YouTube, and that's literally what I would be doing all day otherwise. And eventually I was just like, why not? Bought the mic stand and the webcam and stuff, bought a little green screen, and just did it. And it's been really fun.
Nice. Yeah, man. I gotta tune into one of your streams sometimes.
Yeah. No, please do. Please do. Say what's up.
Yeah, I gotta tune in and stuff and say what's up.
Yeah, man. Definitely I'll shout you out if I see you in chat.
Yeah, for sure. Dubs in the chat.
Dubs in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. Is there any words you'd like to leave with your fans?
Absolutely. Soda Boys in the chat. Soda Boys are in control. Let's go.
1 in the chat.
But thanks for the conversation. It's always a pleasure, dude. Always a pleasure. I feel like this was good. We had a rounded conversation. Talked about a lot of stuff. So
yeah, we talked about a lot of stuff.